Hi, and welcome to the Power of Connection and Biz Show. I'm Kimberly Lane, Executive Leadership Coach, Talent Optimization Partner, best-selling author, and your host. Today's guest is all about being a sales warrior. He has spent over 31 years as a professional salesperson and definitely loves selling. As a successful salesperson, he knows how to deal with rejection. As a young employee, he worked for a Fortune 500 startup, and through his mastery of cold calling, built his pipeline from 0 customers to 300 over a 5-year period. He has set sales records left and right and won personal best awards and President Club awards wherever he goes. He currently is a professional consultant for Fortune 100 companies and works with high net worth clients, and of course, continues to set records on new client development. On a personal note, he enjoys boating with his family, outdoor activities with friends, and currently hosts an international YouTube podcast called Schools Out 80s Comedy Channel. Please welcome our guest, John Sansoni. John, it's a joy to have you here. I've been looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah, me too, Kimberly. I'm stoked for our conversation. Really excited to share what needs to be told.
And there's a lot to being a successful salesperson. I think you agree, not everybody is cut out for sales, right?
There are so many untrained, undisciplined, infuriating processes that I see out there that contact me to try to sell me things. And it just lets me know that my vision for making the world a better place with better salespeople is very pertinent and it's needed.
Yeah, I'll never forget when I told my dad when I was a young girl going into college that I was going to go into sales. He was like, "Oh my gosh, all he thought it was the car salesperson, and then obviously I got into pharmaceutical sales and did exceptionally well in medical device. But I still look back to that day and just laugh because, sales is really an art, and it sometimes has a bad connotation that people are not trustworthy or authentic, and they're really trying to stoop you or pull the wool over your eyes, et cetera. But, I think, to be an authentic and good salesperson, it really has to be, and be successful, you have to be really on the best interest of your clients. However, we do know with all your cold calling that you probably dealt with a lot of rejection or hangups. So I always like to find it interesting in how people deal with rejection. And I'm sure you've got some great tidbits here for our audience.
Absolutely. Well, the main thing, Kimberly, is you got to show up with who you are. Like most people don't know who they are. Like if I take somebody and I was interviewing them and saying, well, tell me what's good about you. Like you're a product. I'm not saying you personally. I'm just saying like people need to be aware of who they are. And a good salesperson knows exactly who they are. Like you got to show up not with, is the customer going to say yes or the customer's going to say no? You got to show up with outstanding personal confidence. And that personal confidence has to be based upon measurable things that you can look at, see, and feel. So one of the things I teach is that you need to have a list of your 10 best accomplishments on paper, typed out so that you can see them. So when you show up to cold call, you got to be in state to do that properly because you are going to get rejection. And a lot of times, some of the rejection isn't about you. Mm-hmm. It's about the juggling that's going on. And it's not only like rejection and just sales, but a lot of people don't take into consideration that when you're trying to get a goal accomplished with a particular person, whatever that goal might be, that there are things that are going on in their life that have nothing at all to do with you, that they have to juggle in order to make time for you. And most salespeople don't take that into consideration. They're like, oh, I gotta know, oh this, oh that. And one of the best things you can do, and I teach it in my book and my course, is play the game. It's a game.
Yes, it is.
Like I played a lot of games as a kid. I played basketball, I played football, I played all the other like games that you do at recess, like kickball and that kind of thing. And during a game, you get rejected.
Yeah.
And football is a great example. I love watching football because when I watch football, I've used this analogy to help motivate me like my whole sales career. But I watch football, particularly the run game. Mm-hmm. So the quarterback if he's lucky, hands the ball to the running back, and the running back charges out of this little hole that they make for him, and then he gets slammed to the ground. And that's exactly what sales is like. You make a little bit of, a little bit of effort towards the touchdown, and you get slammed to the ground. And then the other opposing team jumps up and goes, "Yay, we tackled him,"
Yeah.
But the warrior gets up and he goes back to the huddle and he finds out what the quarterback wants to do next, and he's ready to run that next pattern. And that's what salespeople need to be like. A true sales warrior isn't getting caught up in the fact that he just got tackled. He's getting caught up in the fact that he's going for the touchdown.
And he's making progress. In the second play, he might get pushed back from where his previous progress too, because something happened. The key decision maker now left, and you got to kind of start all over. But yeah, it is a process, and you have to think about it. It's a process, and it's a win. It's a journey, right? And I love sales. To me, it was really about not the cold calling part, I will admit, but just building the relationships and then successfully selling in something that was of value to them. But on your whole rejection piece, I'll never forget. I always remembered the more no's you get, the closer you are to a yes, right? So that was kind of always my mantra when I was cold calling or getting rejection. It's like, it means you're closer to the yes, right? So keep plugging away, right? But it's not easy.
Absolutely.
But you have to start. You're right. You have to start for a place of knowing yourself and being confident in yourself and not taking it personally. You really have to develop a boundary around that rejection when you're going to work, in essence, because the rejection really isn't about you. It's about their mindset, where they're at, what they're dealing with, having a bad day, whatever. It's just part of the process. So great
Kimberly,
insight.
you're right.
Yep. Great insight. So how would you have coach people on how to properly ask for and win the business when they're in those final conversations or, midstream?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, you have to do a lot of profiling. You got to know what's appropriate for the customer, and you have to make that personal connection. And if you've done that, you've made the personal connection, you've done all the profiling, you've laid out the proper product for the client, then you need to tie it all together, and you need to do it in a very smooth, laid back way. And then the most powerful thing you need to do is a choice close. Would you rather do it this week or next week? Not yes or no.
Correct.
When are we going to do it versus are we going to do it? And the more you're assumptive in this, the better off you're going to be. Like a lot of car people right now, I know them, we're making fun of car people, and that is true sales. Like I've never sold cars.
Yeah.
But right now they're running into, they don't have inventory. The inventory they have is market adjusted up. And in the positives are, we got low interest rates, and the trade-in has more value. So there's always opportunity gain, opportunity loss in every market,
exactly, yeah,
in the world. And the car market's no different. And then too, like people are like, well, I'm going to wait until you have more inventory. Well, if you wait till we have more inventory, interest rates could go up, and we're going to offer you less for your trade-in. So why not act now? But more importantly, would you like to walk down and talk to the finance manager now, or would you like to talk to the finance manager after you have your coffee? Or whatever.
Or would you like to take another test drive now, or would you like to go talk to the financial, office? Right, exactly. Choices.
Yeah, you're just moving them just a little bit. You're just moving them a little bit closer.
Yes.
And so also, I don't like the term objections. Most sales books talk about overcoming objections. A true salesperson, I don't think, overcomes objections. I think a true salesperson shows value in themselves, in their company, and in their product, and makes a connection with the client. So if you do all those things, the objections are questions. So we've gone over this. We found that A, B, and C, what you're looking for in our benefits of our product, do A, B, and C. And you mentioned that your budget would align with what we have in terms of our offering. So let's move forward. Would you like to move forward now, or would you like to move forward in a couple of days. What would be most comfortable for you? Like I use a lot of softening type of closes.
Right.
Does this resonate with you? Are you comfortable as I describe it? Like I say things they're not expecting a salesperson to do. And then two, like I eliminate all the, what do you call it? Pressure from the
Yeah.
client. And I tend to do that with reverse psychology. Like most salespeople don't want people to think about it. I propose that they think about it. Like I'm a super analytical person. And so I say, Bob, Cindy, we've gone through this, it meets your needs, so on and so forth. Why not take all weekend and, really spend some time and look at this and see if you think this is a fit. And then I can call you either Monday or Tuesday, which would be better for you. Oh no, John, we want to do it right now.
Yeah, I think sometimes not being the pressure, but you mentioned on a couple points there, there's this whole term as far as in the workplace psychological safety, but you're really trying to create that same psychological safety with your potential client because they have to learn to trust you, right, over that sales process. And when you've created that, it's probably a natural progression for them to want the sale. I always found too, because I would build that connection, psychological safety, really knew what their needs were offering a solution that had value, et cetera, et cetera. I really never had to go into this, well, the competition does this and doesn't do that. I always felt from a point of confidence in my product and what I was doing and me and the process, blah, blah, blah. So I think sometimes if people are constantly comparing and contrasting up what a potential competition or their existing business line or whatever they're using and that's a competitor to you. I just always found competitive selling is I think very antagonistic for, unless people directly ask, how does your stuff compare to, so-and-so, but what are your thoughts on that whole competition piece too?
You got to show value.
Yeah.
And don't back down from the fight, so to speak. So if they bring up a competitor, know your competitor extremely well and know how you differentiate yourself in the marketplace. Yeah. I have a great example from back in the 95, 96, 97 timeframe when I was selling technology. And I was getting ready to close, I think this $70,000 deal. And the engineer calls me up and says, hey, John, your competitor just said that they're going to give me 3 licenses for free. And my licenses were like $12,000 a piece.
Wow.
And as this was going on, Kimberly, I was literally going across the grass with my laptop satchel on, walking into another meeting with my engineer to do a software demo. And frankly, this piece of business was extremely important to me because I was total commission. Like I was, what do I say, God, and two, like, I don't want to downplay God in my life because yes, has John read a lot and has he done a lot of sales? But I've been inspired by like God to give me some of the best things to say at the best moments.
Agree. So what did you say? Yes.
I said, let's call him Mr. Smith, because sometimes engineers want to be called by Mr. And sometimes it's good to show people respect to close business. And so I was like, that's interesting, Mr. Smith, that they want to give you 3 licenses for free. You know what I think about that? And the guy's like, no, what? If he thought that you would pay $11,000 like you're going to with my licenses, he wouldn't be so comfortable to give them to you for free. And he's like, I'll get you a purchase order.
Yeah. Or, it's kind of like they have to give it away for free because people are seeing the value to purchase it. Right. So people see the value in my product. Right. So great answer. And God gives us great messages. Right.
Yeah. And it was inspired, frankly. And two, it was wild because like, as I was saying it, it's like, are you really going to say this to somebody? Like I've said things to people that weren't unethical, but at the same time, it was like out of my comfort zone, but it led to success. So I'm not wanting people to learn to say things unethical, but I do want people to learn how to get out of their comfort zone, because where I've made my biggest successes is getting out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. And I think being candid, and that also kind of brings me to my next topic that I'm really fast about is just, how do you use humor in your selling? Because I'm a really big fan of humor, just like you talked about using words that soften the situation. Like are you comfortable or not putting the high pressure? And, I'm going to give you some time to think about it, what you think about over the weekend. So how do you introduce and foster humor when you're having these conversations? Because I think that's also a big win. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's in the warm up. Like a lot of large companies I've worked for, they talk about the gears of selling. And the first gear of selling is like the warm up. Like a non salesperson, I run into them every day because they try to sell me stuff. They don't warm me up. They don't
right,
research me. They don't build any rapport. If they do, it's not good rapport.
right.
It's like, it just makes me feel like I'm so needed in the world. But anyway, um, so you warm them up and then you find ways to find funny. And how do you find funny? In the moment. I
Mhm.
don't know how you find funny, but most of the time, if I get together like at a dinner table with people, I can find funny without making fun of any one person. And two, like everybody can enjoy in the funny. And some of the things that I say are just kind of laid back and it kind of fosters funny. And then if I get the ability to throw funny in, I throw funny in. And then if you can get them smiling, you can get them buying. If you can get them smiling and laughing, you can get them referring them to your friends.
Yeah, because
Um,
it's an enjoyable experience, and I think that builds the connection that I believe is so important in selling. And I wrote a book called Connections Change Everything, just
I
because
like
that
it.
whole connection is so important, especially in sales. And I always communicated to my potential clients, I go, I'm not going to sell you something you don't need and don't want and can't use and isn't going to work for you, because I need you to be a referenceable client. And if you can't be a referenceable client, it's not good for me.
I
Meaning they
like
have to
it.
be extremely happy in order to move forward. Because otherwise I don't need a bad review, right? I don't want to
Yeah.
somebody that's unhappy, right? So but yeah, I could talk sales all afternoon. So I'm
I
gonna ask,
like it.
yeah, a couple more questions. So humor, I think, is
Sure.
awesome. I agree with you. And I think it's being present in the moment. You can't think of a great, line walking into your sales meeting. It's more or less being comfortable with yourself and being playful and humorous in that warm-up stage, if you will, and just naturally having a conversation versus coming across with program sales language, right?
Absolutely. And kind of, I don't know how to people just need to like, if you're in sales, particularly if you're on the phone and you're selling or face to face and you're selling, you need to get comfortable with yourself. And you need to share of yourself things that are considered mundane, and it will make the client or customer believe you're another person. So like
Exactly.
some of the things I always say is like, and they'll tell you, and something salespeople need to know too, is when clients and customers ask you how you're doing, they really don't care how you're doing.
Right.
And and
Exactly.
and
Right.
and, and, and everybody needs to hear this because it's a revelation. What they care about is, are you selling? They're taking your temperature. They're trying to see, are you a happy person or are you a sad person? Do they feel like you're struggling financially or are you successful financially? If you're struggling financially, nobody wants to do business with you.
Yep.
And if you're unhappy, nobody wants to do business with you. And the list goes on and on. And so you got to kind of like, you don't need to be doing great, but you need to be doing good. Like, how you doing? Don't like oversell. Don't, oh, I'm doing awesome. Nobody wants to hear that, particularly older clientele. They want to hear, oh, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Um, just be real. And they're saying to themselves, wow, I bet he's got a good business. That's what they're saying to you. Sometimes some of the old school people be like, how's business? They'll ask you how business is, and
Right.
you need to be ready to say business is doing good. And if
Yeah. Just
business
had a
isn't
great
doing
month.
good,
Yeah. Yeah.
business needs to be unbelievable, which means you can't believe how bad it is, but you need to tell them it's unbelievable.
I love
They
it.
don't need to know that it's bad, but you need to be telling them it's unbelievable.
Exactly. I love that. That's a great line.
So
Can I steal that? I'm going to steal that. I love it. Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. That is
That's
awesome.
you find the funny. I mean, I have an international comedy podcast, and by God, every episode we find the funny. We don't know where funny's going to be, but we find it. And it's just it. And two, like one of the things I say, and it's kind of mundane, but it works like every time, is on a Friday. And I just want to mention Friday is the best time to close business. Be
Hmm.
aware that on Friday, if you're not trying to close business on Friday, you don't know how to sell. It's not that you can't close business on Monday, but you're more likely to close business on Friday.
Agreed.
And two, as we're getting close to the holidays, you're more likely to close business at the holidays because people's endorphins are cranking higher right now. And people that had endorphins cranking higher will buy more, plain and simple. And it's simplistic, but people buy on emotion, and then
Yes,
they
they
back it
do.
up with logic later.
Exactly.
But I'm digressing a little bit, but it's something I'm passionate about. When you talk to people and you're shaking their hand verbally, and if you don't have a firm handshake and people can't trust you,
Exactly.
people can like you and they'll like you, but people trust you, they'll buy from you, and and that's the differentiator. And you have to make yourself trustworthy, whatever that might be for everybody involved. But find the funny. One of the things I do is people are asked, "Hey, John, how's it going?" "Oh, I'm doing good." And I'm just sitting here, sipping on a little cup of coffee. I think this is my second one. People love that. I don't know why. Talking about coffee, people love, but it's easy relatability because most people drink coffee
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
90% of the time. John, I'm
Yeah.
drinking coffee too. This is my second cup. Boom, we've already related.
Exactly. We've already connected. Exactly. Yeah. Very good. Very
It's
good.
simplistic.
It is, but it's basic, but it's necessary. You cannot jump into a sales conversation right into I don't care even how much you know that person, you have to warm them up. You have to get a feeling for where their head's at. And maybe they're not ready because some crisis happened, kids sick, they got to get, they're half focused. It's a whole nother session we can talk about being present and
Oh yeah.
reading your people.
And
But
yeah.
we are approaching the end of our time together. So I
Okay.
know we want to talk about your giveaway. So you want to share with our audience what your giveaway is?
Oh yeah, absolutely, Kimberly. So my vision for folks that are out that are selling, like Kimberly mentioned, rejection is hard. And I have felt like my entire 31 years of selling, there haven't been any good books out there that teach you how to handle rejection and how to play the game. So I wrote a book called Sales Warrior. It's out on Amazon. And if you email me at saleswarriorinspire@gmail.com, I'll give you a free one, and it's a $10 value. And I have a hard time believing that it couldn't make you some money. If it won't make you money, it'll help you make more friends.
Yeah.
And then two, I have two master classes. Uh, Both are on Teachable. One's $400 and the other is $100. One's over 10 hours of instruction and inspiration, video, audio, and workbooks. And the other one is 2.5 hours for $99. 499. If you buy the 99, you can upgrade to the 400. I'll give you the 100 back. But two, I just kind of want to leave my mark on the world. And easiest way to get a hold of me if you didn't get my email is saleswarriorinspire.com. You can go out there and link up with me that way. And two, I share inspirational material every single month with people that are linked up with me. And then two, I'm not a coach. Like I don't personally coach anybody. I don't have any coaching hours that I log or anything like that. People learn my wisdom from watching my videos, reading my book, and taking my master classes. Um, and that's it. I just have one quick thing. It's my motto. If that's okay.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So my motto is, as you become a sales warrior, remember, life is short and life is for living. And you can apply that the entire time you're on this earth, but that'll be missed on a lot of people. As you go through your day, little things will happen. It'll kind of upset you. Things won't go your way, what have you. But just remember, life's for living. If you got 3 hours left today, how are you going to spend them, and how are you going to really, really enjoy them? Because life is short, and we're here to live life. And that's it.
No, I thank you. And then that whole motto too, I think applies very well when all of a sudden you're down and feeling rejected. It's kind of like life is short. Life is for living. I'm not going to stay in this place of feeling rejected. I'm going to be happy anyway. Right. And just keep on dialing and keep on going. So,
Exactly. You can't evaluate things as a yes or a no.
Exactly.
We are human beings, not human doings, and we're here to be something. But what we are is, what we think about ourselves. That's truly what we are, is our opinion of ourselves.
Exactly. Bingo. Yep. So to our wonderful listeners, thank you for joining us today. It's such a joy also to see your wonderful reviews. And thank you for subscribing to the Power of Connection and Biz on YouTube. And to John, it is such a joy to have you on the show today. I've been looking forward to it. I love your essence of incorporating humor in your sales techniques, but really introducing a very warm, connecting, emotional connection with your clients, because that truly is the key to building trust in order to be successful. So you will find access to John's information, his email to reach out for his free book, and also will find information on his Sale Warrior courses and also his email. So remember, till next time, connections change everything.